It's time. You guys have been waiting for it for week after week. We are at the end here. We've got 1 week left after tonight. But tonight we will decide. L5 and MVP Black and Tempest is watching eagerly with anticipation.
Yes. They're waiting as if Black wins 3-0, Tempest move up and they will be second place for a long time. Maybe they will go straight to BlizzCon if 3-0 happens for Black. If it's 3-1, they're tied up with along with the set score, along with 3-0, 3-1, 3-2 score also. It's all tied up, and we may have a tiebreak at the end on the last day on Sunday with L5 and Tempest and decide who is going to BlizzCon just like that. And one team has to go through the playoff before they go to BlizzCon.
That's right. So third place means you have to at least win the finals of the gauntlet. Second place means you go directly because we have 3 seeds from Korea going this year.
I want to...
Best BlizzCon ever.
Ever!
So,
Cringe.
all right, so, 12 by the way. We're heading into the series now with a really close scoreline between these two. They're 2-1 actually against each other. L5 actually taking both series in Phase 1. They ended up winning first place in Phase 1 going into the mid-season brawl. But this season, 3-0 for MVP Black the first time, and most analysts predict a 3-0 scoreline again for MVP Black here. You might be thinking, but I watched Eastern Clash, and they didn't win that. But this season, in terms of what we've seen in regular league play here in Korea, Black has looked insanely dominant. They've dropped 4 maps all season long, only 4 maps. And they have also dropped less odd losses like L5 has. L5 has looked sloppy in a lot of theirs. I think they have 14 losses. Let me check. 12 losses. 12 yes. losses. 3 times as many losses. And they have just not looked as clean. They lost a game to Mighty yesterday through just misunderstanding one team fight. They have definitely not looked as pure, in a sense, as MVP Black this season. And even though they won Eastern Clash, L5 didn't, even though they won the Season 1, the Part 1, Phase 1 parts, both of them, the one with the 3-1, the one with the 3-2, and they are ahead. Right now, Black are massively the favorites.
Yep, Black, especially after having Rich, who only used to play all the DPS, all the ranged, all the hyper carry for the team, changing his mind and playing tanks like the Leoric top lane, playing global, playing Dehaka to fit the meta, to fit into the team. I think really made the big change into Black, and they're in the meta right now with Richie, who used to just be a little bit selfish in a way and pick all of his favorite heroes. Even he has a secret card, Medi, when there's a burst CC, blow up comp on the other side. Medi is forced to will, sometimes countering the entire draft of the other team. Black is really in a good position right now, even against L5. Like you said, L5 has been having some troubles against weaker teams. Even they were losing some team fights when they were having a talent lead. That was somewhat questionable for us to see. And
yeah,
Black, of course, made a lot less mistakes like that.
I think that the key factor here is that L5 lost some of their best players. Noblesse and Nitrogen are gone. Noblesse was one of the most famous players in Korea. Like, people say Rich was the best Korean player, but a lot of people would argue and say Noblesse was the best Korean player. And they lost Rich. He wanted to take a break. He went into streaming. And he came back, and Noblesse left. And I think that those are the 2 most iconic players of the 2 teams by far. And again, Hooligan, sure, he made a big splash going into the Eastern Clash. And, he's had a very good year overall, including his time before being on L5. But has he filled the shoes of Noblesse yet? Not yet. But I think tonight would be another one of those stepping stones where we've already checkboxed Eastern Class, first international event, played a very good tank, did defeat MVP Black in the finals. That's one checkbox. Winning this Part 2 regular season, not getting 0-3 like they did last time, that's another checkbox for Hooligan. But he's not there yet, and this is a very confident MVP Black that predicted in their winning interview in their match on Friday that they would destroy L5. They're not worried about them, it seems, in the slightest. And I think that, if you think that L5 is going to win this series, you haven't fully been paying attention. Can they do it? They certainly can. But this team is looking to get revenge for their failure at the midseason brawl. This team has dropped only 4 maps. This type of dominance has never been seen in HGC history. It has not been seen in any region
at all.
Ever.
Their last match against Raven, of course, they had some funky drafts coming out. Gyocha was not even playing as a support, but I believe that was against the worst team in Korea. And also, they were trying to hide strategies for today. That was the main option because they wanted to hide as much as possible so they can have a good match against the L5, who we did not see also for a long time in this patch. I mean, I'm pretty sure both of the teams brought something special for tonight's match, as I heard from Hooligan that Black still seems pretty dominant in scrims. They've been losing a lot against MVP Black, but in the tournament scene, in OGN, when they come up here, it can be a different story.
Yeah. L5, let's talk about what L5's strengths lie in. I feel like it really lies in their ability to play the hyper carry meta so well. SC's Vala, incredible. And his Greymane also. These are the 2 heroes that they absolutely annihilated Mighty with in games 2 and 3, and then later on in games 4 of the series they played just last night. They haven't shown too much different. They haven't shown anything new on this patch just yet, whereas we've seen a little bit more of that from Black again. Were they trolling? Were they taking this series very seriously? We don't know. But L5 has shown time and time again they are the best double support hyper carry team in Korea. They are the best in Asia, as they showed at the Eastern Clash. And so maybe MVP Black, if they end up losing the solo lane matchup, or if they end up struggling in the early game, we go to that late game, and we see that Lunara, we see that Vala, we see the Greymane. Those are the heroes that MVP Black will struggle against, I feel. Those are the heroes that L5 need to find in this draft. Or, as you suggested earlier, from what you heard from Hooligan, maybe show some innovation in this series to guarantee their spot for BlizzCon. You don't want to show too much here going into BlizzCon, but at the same time, if you lose, you have to show even more.
Yes.
You have to play then in the playoffs, and it's very important, I think, to win this series for L5.
For L5, they need at least 2 games from tonight's series. Just assuming that they will win the rest of the games, they still have another match, one more match next week, but it's against a very weak team. So assuming that they will have a 3-0 against the other team, they need at least 2 games off of MVP Black to secure their second place spot and going straight to BlizzCon. So this match, of course, is very important, especially also Tempest. They are waiting and watching this live as we speak.
They are. Kyocha looks like he's been seeing a long training regimen, getting that 9 p.m. shadow going on. All right, Cursed Hall will be map 1. As expected, no one is surprised. StarCraft Battlegrounds will be banned by these 2 teams who have banned them basically in every single series they've ever played. And now we're headed to Cursed Hall. This is going to be a map that there's a lot of timings that are involved here. Understanding about boss control. This map material is going to be very important. So Greymane might become the focal point for DPS. And L5 will have first pick. This is the battleground choice of MVP Black. One of both MVP teams as organizations have always favored this map. And they're starting off with it against first pick. This is going to be a great series. It is going to be fantastic. And even if Black dominates, it will not be the same kind of domination we saw against Raven, for example. This is going to be L5 really giving it their all. This matters so much for them.
Also, this battleground really shows what kind of heroes stand on top in this meta because of this matchup right here with Black against L5. This will matter a lot in this meta. Really, I think this match entirely will show who the top hero is and what Korea is thinking and what kind of heroes stand on top. Utherban from L5. This basically just throws out Ariel for MVP Black, just scrolling around right now.
Lucio ban is also reasonable. I mean, I really don't have anything bad to say about both Swoy and SDE's Lucio. And, it's something that's been rising up quite a bit. We saw it a lot yesterday. As Black is perhaps playing some mind games at the moment with this ban. Ariel is something that L5 has always wanted to get, always wanted to draft early, always wanted to play around because they're so good at the hyper carry meta, as we were talking about. So the Malthael ban feels like a throwaway ban, so it's like, sure, you can take Ariel, but we'll take the Tassadar. Or you could take the Tastar, but we'll take the Ariel, right? That's what the Malthael ban feels like here.
Do you give Ariel to Swoy, though? It gives a lot of power.
They've got a plan, no doubt, if they do.
Maybe we're going to see... Less likely in this map, maybe they're thinking of some counters. Somewhat... Oh, maybe a Chromie.
Well, I think
a lot less in this map, of course.
I think that we should just first see what they take with the Tastar, because you can take the Tastar away here now, giving the Ariel. It's not a win for L5 by any means necessarily yet.
But this is usually what Black does when they do not have the first ban, because they have the last slot to counter everything. They usually bring out the surprise card at the end.
Something that Black does in this matchup a lot is they will give the Ariel, and they have their answer already. And that's something that Black tackles top-tier teams like this. They play against every other, weaker team like Standard, but against top-tier teams, they always give the team what they want, because that's what they prepared against, and that's what they want to defeat. So if they say, well, your best comp is Ariel, and you're running it all the time, I will give it to you because I've already planned to play against that. I don't want you to do anything different. I want to play against what you have been showing all the time that we've been studying VODs of.
Well, moving away from different, though, Standard will be Vala first pick with Lucio.
So they've given not only the Ariel, but the Tassadar as well. Very risky draft here by MVP Black.
And I was initially thinking maybe they're thinking of a dive on their own. Maybe Rhaegar plus a DPS like Greymane. Or even a Genji is still open on the other side. So, but taking away Vala, since L5 does have Ariel. And L5 did use Lunara against the Vala. It worked alright against Mighty. But seemed like a lot of other Korean teams, but especially both MVP teams, putting Lucio on top right now.
Yeah, I mean, his sound barrier has been so impactful in the last few match days that, and the understanding of how to use him with hypercares, especially ones like Lunara and Vala that require kiting, he's so powerful because he allows you to get into range and also allows you to retreat. So your weakness of being the hyper carry with that is positioning, right? But you're always going to be in a better position. So we talked about the Tyrael and the Greymane as to being the focal point of this draft in terms of DPS. Whoever was going to go full hyper carry because of boss control that really, really matters at this high level. So Greymane comes in with the Tyrael now. This is going to be L5's technique. This is going to be their plan, what they want to draft around. And I think that the second support will very likely be a Rhaegar. We do have to consider, though, remember, because this is a new patch, and they didn't show this in their series against Mighty, but they might be hiding this, that they do double DPS, and that they do not go full hyper carry on the Greymane.
That's right. For this second ban phase, Black has been banning solo lane. Maybe, I'm pretty sure Rich is just sneaking up Sonya right now. That should also be considered as a ban, but instead they will just ban the ETC.
Okay.
Black really pressuring the top lane.
So
Jungha can also just play a Tyrael if he wants to.
Is this going to be potentially a Sonya pick? They've removed Malthael, and Dahaka's gone to no global, so that's one thing on this big map where Sonya kind of loses because even though she wins the lane, she cannot teleport to the tribute. So feels like a rich Sonya type draft coming out with the bans that we see here. And again, this is a possibility. We see double DPS here from MVP Black, double ranged. Sake is on camera here. He played the Jaina against Raven. And will we see that again?
Not sure. I think Sonya is very likely, but with what other tank? There's a dive on the other side. Morales with Varian.
Okay, here we go. Time for some new meta. Double support with Varian on the cards. Got a cool new skin in that Volskaya trailer, but not much other big changes to this guy currently.
This is not the usual KR meta that we have right now for Black.
I get the feeling this is going to be Rich's hero too for some reason.
Is it going to be Colossus Smash Variant?
I think it could be. He could be the top later. They've already removed strong matchups that would defeat him, like the Malthael, the Dahaka, but Sonya is still very viable here for L5. Sonya, Illidan is also a valuable hero on this map. Great cap clear times. With its draft, they could run the Illidan in the top lane. If it's not going to be Varian top lane, then the tank lineup is definitely going to be weak as well here for Black. All right, what's it going to be in the top lane? Going to be potentially a Nubarok with the Kharazim.
So basically, let's dive in and Brightwing for the global.
Triple support.
This is going to be, this may actually be Twin Blade.
It certainly could be. This is going to get crazy.
This is
okay.
Insane.
Let's talk about this because the top lane for MVP Black can be Varian, it can be Brightwing at times. They can rotate in heavily. This could also be a comp that's designed to rush the core. This could be a Twin Blades comp that's designed to rush the forts. We have a crazy first draft here for game number 1. We've never seen anything like this here in phase 2, guys. MVP Black, number 1 against L5, number 2 currently in Korea. We're going to game number 1 on Cursed Hollow. Tell your friends. In blue, MVP Black, Reset on Lucio, Sake on Morales, Kyocha on Brightwing, Rich on Vala, and Tist on Varian.
And in red, L5, Hooligan on Ubarok at CSC, on Greymane, Jungha on Tyrael SDE, on Kharazim, and Swoi on Ariel.
Okay.
Rich on Vala. This seems like a bait almost, and just the taunt coming out from Varian. Just hyper carry Vala. Hyper carry.
Okay, they react quickly with the Brightwing here to the level 1 push. That's actually a really nice step they had. They split everyone into the lanes so they could actually teleport to where L5 was. So well done. It's going to be SDE versus Tist in the solo lane for the time being. We'll see how that settles later on, as it is going to be... We have seen the rise of solo lane Kharazim coming up in the double support meta. The trades here are, I think, pretty even. I would need to see the top lane to know for sure, but I think it's actually pretty even. Probably a cannon tower down on both sides, maybe 2 in the top lane because they've got Vala up there. Okay, yep, it's just going to be the 1 actually. Very similar in terms of damage done. So, Rich is playing ranged, which is a little bit odd.
Very odd.
We don't see this ever, so it's hard for us to explain to you what the reasons are yet. We haven't had to watch this unfold. First blood will go to L5 here, though, as they grab the pick onto a very aggressive Lucio.
Even the speed boost was not enough. The smite was just enough for the kill.
All right, well.
With a global and Black, maybe Black has close to, not 0, but close to 0 wave clear. They do have global, though, so they do have to push in very hard. If not, if they make a lot of rotations, if they lose a lot of time, then they will be pushed. And see what happens with just 1 kill onto Lucio.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, this is kind of a race, right? We thought this might be a core race type situation with the Varian coming through, and maybe Varian ends up going into, you know, a Twin Blades later on, and they have triple support. They can kind of force this through. They get Medevac for Morales. Could be Stim Drone as well. If it ends up being the Twin Blades, that would be insane. Lucio for mobility. You've got large amounts of heal. But these all sound like crazy ideas, right? But we don't know how the draft is designed to function. And on the other side, we have the Cocoon available, which can really ruin this composition because there's not a whole lot of tankiness. Varian's not the tankiest person ever. You Cocoon a Vala, how can Black win the fight after that? It's be very difficult.
That's the thing, but seeing all the talents coming out from Varian leads me to believe more and more that we'll just have a taunt coming out for the solo tank in the front line. Of course, Cocoon will be very threatening, but with the triple support, I think they can have what it takes to sustain for themselves.
Yeah, it feels that way, right? But first tribute fight is going to be super indicative of how this game is going to go. Because remember, Brightwing's up at the top lane, getting extra soak right now. The longer this goes, the better for Black. 5v4, L5 wants to grab this ASAP. Rich is just going to clear this wave, can toss some arrows over the wall here. Varian going to use parry here, but they're diving onto Rich here. Safeguard and the heals will keep him alive for a while, but not long enough.
Even that burst healing coming out from Morales was not enough. That focusing from L5 was scary.
Oh, the grenade deny! Buying even more time for Brightwing's split push. Looks like she's going to hearth home now. We'll head to the mid to get that extra soak there. Because of the way the lane is pushed mid, Brightwing's not losing any experience because there's no fort. So actually going to get a lot of experience from that as well. But because of the double picks and the push that's been going on for L5, they're not even ahead in experience, but the Brightwing is important that it's actually getting that soak done.
It's before 10, so Varian can't really go into the front line. Even Varian will be deleted very soon. Damage output from L5 can be insane.
Jungha with a pause. Here we go.
Maybe something funky is going on at top lane.
All right. So this has definitely been a pretty nuts first game. And, you know, we thought maybe Twin Blades Varia, we jumped to a lot of conclusions in the draft, but as you say, as we get into the game, it does feel that we're just going to be seeing more of the taunt Varian, solo tank, protection for the hyper carry Vala. They will have sound barrier for Lucio once they hit 10, and they have the extra protection in that way to keep Vala alive. But I'm not really sure where the where the end game plan is for this, because as we saw, Vala is gone, the fight's over. Sure, it was a 4v5, but when Vala's gone, the fight is basically over, and I think that's going to be something that could similarly occur if a Nubrok is able to get in position to cocoon Vala, and then the squishies at the back just can't protect themselves. Varian has taunt, he might be able to buy some time, but it just feels like very much a slippery slope once we get into those scenarios post-10. So they're fixing his headset. It seems like he doesn't hear sounds at the moment. Jungha, that is.
All of a sudden. So they're having some sound issues, but even with a taunt, there's no real good target to taunt, because Vala would just be doing auto attacks. There's no burst, so to say, coming out from the triple support. Even all the skill shots will not burst and make a kill for MVP Black. So I don't know where the taunt would come in. Maybe he will actually go for that smash and make sure that Vala can do the burst damage onto one target and take one by one, because they have the triple support sustain.
Yeah. I mean, the sustainability when we talk about the support is they've got Lucio, then they have like lesser Lucio with Brightwing, very similar AoE, long-standing healing, and then they have Morales. Morales' burst will keep Varian alive in the front line while everyone else gets healed up slowly, but there's no divine shield or anything like that with this comp. Sound barrier is going to be all they've got. Sure, Stim Drone can help you be a little bit more mobile and stuff like that, but I don't even know if we're going to see Stim Drone. Blink heal, yeah, sure, it could give you a little bit of heal, not really that much burst. It's more of mobility for Brightwing. So we can theory craft about what the draft means, and we could certainly discuss what will happen post 10. But for what I'm looking at it at the moment, it feels like it could be a draft that will be weak post 10 against L5's draft that's more balanced. And that's what I'm worried about for MVP Black.
Well, Black does have global, and we may just see Emerald Wind canceling all the dives from coming in. That's a good tool to cancel the dive to counter the entire team of L5, what they're made to do, what they want to do. And they have a lot of tools, as sustain healing coming from Morales, Brightwing, of course. Lucio gives the speed boost for escape. I think they are trying to just out-rotate by macro and try to win games with the EXP fight here.
Well, we are back in game now. And L5 does have this wall destroyed. They have the tribute lead and a slight experience lead as well from their picks. And Brightwing wasn't able to get enough of extra split push done in the top lane to actually make the loss of tribute worth it, I would say. So L5 with a very slight lead in this game. Again, worrisome considering where we're going next, post 10. Greymane going into Quicksilver Bullets with the Dami build before it, though. So just very much aggressive Wolfheart for range. So SC has been building like this a lot recently to try to have massive sustained poke. He has double supports to keep him alive while he does that damage to build the hope. This time I think there's a very high chance MVP Black will have Brightwing here to contest. This is not going to be the 4v5 again. Here it comes. Teleports in. Parry, very good here for Varian. He's actually surviving.
And cancels a lot of damage alone in the front line. But meanwhile, Rich is doing some damage, but good sustain and healing coming out from Swoy.
Looks like L5 is very willing to give this up now, sending everybody to soak experience. Mid, bot.
It seemed like there was a wall in front of MVP Black saying, come in if you want to. Like, we do have all the damage, we have tools. If you come in, I think we can outwin the power. We do have power in L5. Just knowing the strength, what could happen when they go in. If disjointed or dispositioned because of Lucio on the side, they just gave that up.
Varian is very annoying to deal with because he's essentially invulnerable for so long. During those times where he is protected by his parry, he will be healed up by the triple support so well. And in choke points like that, getting to where Vala stands is so difficult when you have this very tanky, and soon to be even tankier, assuming he takes taunt, Varian in your face. And so when he takes the taunt, they will have the extra health, he will be difficult to kill. But I think it's going to be more about the web wrap coming through the cocoon.
There's a cocoon instantly happening.
On to Lucio.
Hooligan and Greymane Ario comes, so Detainment Strike and some CCs will instantly connect.
Okay, there's the CCs, Detainment Strike, and Reset goes down.
Right before the sound barrier.
Good Emerald Wind here to protect the Vala.
It is the taunt variant coming out, and Stim Drill not used yet as Lucio is already down.
Yeah, not going to be worth it in this fight. Tribute red side here, huge advantage to L5. They're a man up for a little bit. Lucio can come in quickly, but looks like Black is going to try to take this opportunity to boss instead. Very wise decision to have to think they're even going to commit the stim drone to this thing to kill this ASAPly. And L5 sniffs it out. They're going to take their own boss, so this boss will not be as effective for MVP Black as they would have liked it to be.
Jonga does spot, but he's alone. He can't do much, and this drone will be a trade. Maybe they will also go to the top and try to pressure the other boss.
If they had medevac, they certainly could really pressure it hard. I don't think they can get there in time. They are making that rotation up right now, but it's going to be a little bit too late.
Will they get there in time? Lucio's using the speed boost.
Oh my god. No way, no way, no way, no way. Okay, that was so close. They're going to try to take the fight regardless. Taunt used here onto Hooligan. He's got the cocoon available again. They're just going to get the hell out of here, as there's just no reason to stay anymore. And with this rotation, it's really good rotation for Black because they got their boss first. Jonga's the only one dealing with the boss down here, whereas Black, all 5 members, or 4, because Brightwing went home, are already in position to deal with this boss. So the bosses should get very similar amounts of damage done.
You saw the power of Lucio when they made the rotation. The speed boost is helping so much the movement. As you can see in the minimap, they were rotating so quickly. They almost got near the boss zone control. And not in time this time, maybe next time when they try to punish L5 for doing some camping or secret bosses like that. Lucio will be a big tool for them.
Okay, this is going to be so important. Black needs to prove why they chose this comp for this team fight now, or they'll find themselves cursed. No bosses involved here, but this is going to be a 5v5 fight straight up. Choke point here, not good for L5, but they break through. Jonga is swinging around the left side. Could set up for a Sank to engage onto. Parry buying time yet again for Tist. Several times here. Now he's coming in with the charge, drops the taunt. Huge rain there. Second one is excellent as well. And Rich, he's got the stim drone now. Sound barrier here. L5 is going to have to get out. Beautiful palm, but I don't think they can turn this. They need to get out of here.
Yes, he goes very low. Vala blows up, though. Black has no damage. Now L5 for a chance to turn this around. They have all 5 men standing strong, and Ever SD is channeling for now. They do have, Black still has some pokes. Grenade comes to cancel the channel.
They had to kill Vala with that go for the throat. They did it. What a miraculous comeback in that fight. Everything looked over for L5 there. They kill Vala, and as you say, as we've been saying all game long, Vala goes down, fight's over. They get the tribute, they get the curse. And now with level 13 on the horizon here, they are going to try to maximize this value. Top fort already halfway dead. And they're going to go ahead and send SC bot. They've got a contingency headed mid to make sure they maximize the experience lead. And because Black only has 1 tribute, they still have some wiggle room after this too to try to even get further advantages. Not worried about a next curse coming up here.
Even with the positioning and CCs that Rich has, The focusing from L5 and Jungha may die for this. Seems like he will, but focusing from L5, every single auto attack plus the skill shots on Rich, the focusing is beautiful all the time. It's insane. It breaks the amount of healing that comes out from MVP Black.
Okay, so L5 in fantastic position now after this curse. Destroying the keep wall, most of it. Sure, they lost Jungha, but that's a small price to pay for what was gained. All forts down. Map control, vision advantage at the moment with all the lanes pushed. They're going to go ahead and take their caps. They know that is precisely what MVP Black is doing. Could they have gotten more with this? Perhaps, had they focused on one location, but they wanted to just, again, maintain that experience lead. Okay, just going to hold this timing a little bit longer. Boss is not going to be up for a while, so this next tribute is not going to have any sort of boss. There's not going to be any boss influence on this next tribute. It's just simply going to be a tribute that's decided by team fight. Much more important for MVP Black than it is for L5 as well, so they have that one little edge on Black here. Hooligan's coming for a good angle. Okay, here comes the dive in from Jungha as well. Teleports for Brightwing. Varian is the target this time as parries, though, keep him alive, and a good rain yet again with the stim drone here now on Rich. L5 loses the first part of this fight.
But they did not use any heroics. Maybe this is the time they want to go in. There's a polymorph. There's
Cocoon.
the Cocoon uses Emerald Wind perfectly timed, but as CSC gets very low, Aegis comes out. There's a cleanse onto Tist. They're all safe, but 10 men still alive somehow with so much protection.
Go for the throat, but the protection is there for Rich this time. He doesn't die. Sound barrier was available the whole time, and they overextended a little bit here. Taunt's going to be the second death here onto Swoy. And MVP Black, they are chasing down. They want more here. Will not get it, though. Very confident dive, but the safeguard was there. The burst was not enough to kill him. This time, Rich survives. Black wins the fight. And they should have the edge going to this next tribute now. Should be announced in just a few seconds. Boss is up, actually. I mistimed that. They're going to have this boss right before the next tribute. In fact, right with it. It's the luckiest spawn for them ever.
It's right next to it.
Yeah.
Right after the boss, they can just go grab it. And L5 is also going for the boss, but timing will be a little bit better for MVP Black. Let's see how quickly L5 can actually do the boss. It should be very close, but without Greymane for such a long time, I fear that it may take a lot longer time compared to MVP Black.
At least L5 has that fort to the bot, so that's going to help protect this boss. This boss isn't going directly to the keep, whereas the top boss for MVP Black, against MVP Black, certainly will. So they're going to have to send some members back. Looks like Brightwing is going to be the first to head back to deal with that at the moment. So let's see how L5 does this. I think maybe they were expecting Black to go and defend, which is not the case. So they're actually rotating down right now. So that means Brightwing alone should be able to do a lot here, considering both cannon towers are at full health. And Brightwing can always come in if they want to get more. Black is playing this so greedy, but this is such an MVP Black thing to do. Try to maximize value, never play safe. Always play the greediest you can, because mechanically you think that's going to win you the game. Holy Ground used here, baiting out the taunt. Jungha taking a lot of damage.
But got some damage onto the boss. They're trying to clear this boss as soon as possible, as Brightwing is on the other side alone.
Great grenades coming out here from Sake.
Grenade actually does so much damage. If Sake gets caught in Cocoon, like, as they are on to the chase, maybe this is the time Brightwing should come.
Brightwing will come soon, but wants to deal with the boss. The wall is down. The boss will go down right afterwards.
They were trying to bring Brightwing so that the boss could do much more damage to the keep, but did not even touch on the keep.
Black with a safe retreat there, but L5 with the punishing moves nearly got a pick. Now this is going to be top 10 anime battles, man. 5v5. Black gets this, they get a keep easily because they open it up in bot lane. For L5, they just have to deny this. Getting the tribute does nothing for them, but they just can't allow MVP Black to take it right now.
Rich with 6 jukes. Just dodges the impale just like that. SD does tons of damage now,
okay.
though.
Oh, look at that triple stun. Cleanse comes through. Sound Barrier is up. Sound Barrier versus Sank both traded here. But the Cocoon, it's on cooldown now. He used it, didn't gain anything from it. But can SC carry this fight in the longer fight here? He's got Executioner, and he's doing a ton of damage. There's the kill onto Lucio. It's going to be the double. Rich is down.
That Holy Ground was insane from Hooligan. Even Shimdru could not be even used. Look at that. Sake is stuck there. That's exactly what happened to Rich last time.
They're trying to use his grenades here. Second one not going to be as effective. Sake trying to get out. Kyocha doesn't have Emerald Wind, does drop the Polymorph. It looks like Sake will get out, nearly gets a pick onto Jungha. As Tist clears this, he's headed home. But L5, they win this fight with flying colors. They have the opportunity to tribute channel. They will do so. But do they gain anything else? What can they get? A keep wall? A mercenary camp looks like it's going to be the night camp they take.
That was a clutch move coming out from Jungha. The Sanctification, Sound Barrier, timing, all the protection on both sides were amazingly timed. But when they were slightly dispositioned, when Rich was going in aggressive, he was punished by that Holy Ground.
There's not enough CC when Taunt is used early on the side of MVP Black to disrupt SC. We've seen so many attempts coming out from Morales to try to knock him out of position using the grenades, but it just hasn't been successful enough. And in these fights that L5 wins, once the taunt has been used, oftentimes on a Nubarak who comes in, they don't get that pick, and then SC is given free reign to do damage, and if Vala is being protected, he chooses a different target. He got Lucio first in that fight, got the reset on the go for the throat, and the rest is history. And so now as we head into this next tribute fight, I think that Black will need to be wary as to how they use their taunt in the team fight. Maybe when a Nubarak comes in, just try to split against him. Don't taunt him, ignore him, and then try to use the taunt on a juicier target. Removing the DPS is the crux of both teams' idea in the team fight.
Yeah, the idea of taunting a Nubarak coming in because they want to disrupt the cocoon timing, the focus timing when L5 wants to do their own thing. That's a good use because taunt cooldown is low. It can come back in the middle of the team fight if it goes for over 20 seconds-ish.
This is a understanding that Black has that losing a fight here could lose them the game. They know that they have the extra tribute advantage, so they don't actually commit to fighting for this. They know they are the ones who have the global. They are the ones who has the ability to get 21st with the Brightwing pick they chose. So avoid the fight. Sure, it's unfortunate now that L5 is close to Curse Point, but you want to take the fight on 20 if you can first for the next tribute. So I like this play by Black a lot. Playing it safe, getting the soak advantage. And it was a great tribute position for L5. This one is a better one for Black, though. They can get there first. SDE is close by. He'll need to back away.
Still all right. Of course, Brightwing is on the other side, and the bottom lane is pretty pressured towards L5, but they can still clear the camp if they have the positioning. So Black lost the pressure
look at that
from the
grenade!
beginning.
The grenade's so good. The taunt comes in. It's on to SC this time. He's the focus, but the Sank is perfect. He survives. That was exactly what Black needed to do, but the Sank saves him here. He kites back. He's back to full health. Huge Impale coming through, and a 4-man knock-up here from the Burrow Charge.
Ooh, I see. This is doing so much protection, but himself was alone. Rich had to be protected even more, and now they're onto the chase. Go for the throat available. Here comes Greymane. He's doing tons of damage. Sake goes down, and they're onto the other side. They have no escape.
No way
here.
out of this one. I think this is going to be a wipe. This might be game over. Hooligan carried this fight after the Sank was down, getting those incredible impales, going into the 4-man Burrow Charge. And Black did everything they needed to do. This time, they saved the CC for SC. They ignored the Anubarak. They came in with the grenades starting the fight, but it just wasn't enough because the Sank ruined everything, ruined their entire combos. Then they were caught in a choke point. L5 destroys everybody with Hooligan CC. We're talking about Hooligan trying to live up to the legacy of Noble S, and it's plays like this that might give him a similar reputation as they go into BlizzCon.
Again, the Holy Ground coming in from Jungha. It was amazing. Tis had the protection. He was trying to take the aggro, but once he needed to escape, there was the Holy Ground. He was so focused from L5. He went down. No tank from the front line means that L5 can just chase, and Black could not escape from that. And that's going to be game number 1, guys. Insane first game. Triple support did not work for MVP Black.
We were worried from the outset, mostly about the lack of sustain when the fights got longer. Varian could keep himself alive, but when he lives, it doesn't matter necessarily if Vala goes down because SC is untouched. He's just sitting there chipping away at Vala's health. If you protect the Vala, you can't protect the Varian. He's tanky, sure, but he has no escapes. He doesn't have big enough CC. He's got that one shot with the taunt, and that's where it comes from. And that's what they tried to win that last fight with, and it was so well played, but the Sank was timed perfectly, so when he got stunned, went down to what, maybe 15% health, the Sank saves him, Aegis comes in later, and then they're in a choke point where Anubrak is going to get the most value possible. So very well played in that one moment by the tank players, both of them on the side of L5, the Sanctification coming through, and then Hooligan just cleaning it up.
It's well used of L5, all the tools they have. All the supports, they have triple support, but if they take Emerald Wind instead of Blink Heal, and using the Emerald Wind to save your support instead of your tank or instead of your DPS, that means 1-2 wasted to save the support. Of course, can provide some healing, but there's no burst. It's just sustained healing over time. Lucio, Brightwing, and Morales. It's not like burst giving heals with their armor like Uther. So I think that really costed them big time, especially for Tust, who was staying in the front line, protecting himself, but once the protection is wear off and there is a holy ground onto the other side, he can't really escape. Same story for Rich and all the supports. All five really carried that hat. A good idea how to counter all the triple support there.
I think it's really important to remember, too, that Rich had an incredible game of Vala, one of his first televised games of Vala ever. Not his first, by the way. He has played Vala before, but his Rain of Vengeances really well placed. And when he had the Stim drone, he did a lot of damage, but it was this kind of all-in fight where Vala does long sustained damage, and she has the CCs there, the stuns that can lock everybody down. But there is no go for the throat for Vala. There is no way to kill a member that Greymane has. I think that's why Greymane was the stronger hero in this battle overall, because when he didn't die, he did a lot longer damage and then had that finishing blow. And that's what you need against a triple support, right? Because if you don't kill them, they will eventually just get healed back up, and then Vala has more consistent damage than you, but you have the burst damage. So that was kind of the matchup there. And I mean, obviously the last fight was a different story because that was Hooligan just being like, so you all of you guys are going to have that stun over your head for the rest of this game.
It was a big risk that MVP Black actually took. Notice where they fought was very incredible and intelligent in a way, because L5 had to go through a choke point every single time. Even the tribute was on to the other side. L5 sometimes backed off to draw L5 into a small choke point so the random bandits can have multiple stuns and multiple hits as much as possible, and Vala can be safe, has a safe escape route at the back, and it makes also somewhat hard for Anubarak to come from the side. It's really intelligent by Black, but L5, if Hooligan dives in and lends all those stuns to counter that, that's when L5 takes the lead, just like that.
Certainly. So we have now a win for L5. They've taken the first match, which means MVP Black will take first pick, so L5 will have the map choice. Both of these teams like to go to Sky Temple against teams they want to dominate and take the momentum away from. I don't know if you want to do that against MVP Black as L5, though. It's a bit of a risky one. I think that's where we see L5 picking it against Raven, against Blossom, maybe against MVP Miracle. But in this series against their rivals, MVP Black, I think they'll probably take us to something a little bit safer, maybe in Infernal Shrines, Dragonshire.
Maybe a Dragonshire. I want to see some rotations happening along with the top lane. I think top lane, starting from the Game 1 drafting, MVP Black really stressing ban 2 of the solo lane, top lane heroes out there. I think there will be a great war maybe between Sonya and Dehaka. I want to see some draft happening around that too again in Game 2. We have no idea yet, but we'll see the map happening very soon.
That we will. Perhaps someone needed to take a little bit of a bathroom break or something before this.
Yeah, that Game 1 was crazy.
It was a bit out of control, certainly so. But it was a really fun one, man. I'm feeling the hype. I mean, I knew about
fights. We missed it for a long time.
We certainly have. Like, we actually talked about this matchup from the first day we got scheduled. We're like, oh, it's at the end. We have such a long build up to this. We were waiting for this match for many, many weeks. We're in our second to last week here of regular league play, and I was up all night last night thinking about it. We're here. We're talking about it leading into this. Most people are saying Black takes the 3-0. And we get into the first game, incredible drafts, and Black loses the first game, so already the main prediction for most commentators, most analysts in Heroes of the Storm is already ruined, as L5 has taken that set.
Yeah, it seems like L5, whenever they meet Blacks, for some reason, they gain some extra power and everything comes perfectly together for them, and they just take the win. And last time this happened, when L5 took the first game, I believe it was just a 3-0 going for L5, and they need a game, and maybe if they win the series, of course they will be secured for second place to go straight to the BlizzCon, but they just need one more game to secure second place. But if MVP Black comes back and make it a 3-1, they need to have a tiebreaker with Tempest and decide who will be going straight to BlizzCon. So L5, after taking that game number 1, I'm pretty sure that the big pressure they had on their shoulder, was relieved a little bit.
Yeah, because now worst case scenario they have tiebreakers.
Mm-hmm.
All they need is one more win to secure their spot. So it's a really important moment for MVP Black if they want to potentially face Tempest instead, which they would definitely prefer given their track record. Then this is one way to guarantee that happens. At least they'll force them to play an extra game, which means you can study more of that from them when we hit BlizzCon for the Global Championship. Not entirely sure what the reason for the delay is here, guys. I know this is going to be a very exciting series. It's already been a great start, but I don't know what the reason for the delay is.
We got some updates in our ears and said there were some technical issues, like the sound from L5. Maybe the sound issue is still happening from Jungha, who knows, but seems like we're having some delay from L5. It should be fixed, and we'll let you know as soon as possible. We'll get some updates in our ears.
Yeah, so what's your prediction for map? Because for me, I'm leaning towards the Dragonshire, actually.
I don't know. I do not know, but I do not know what else MVP Black's going to do tonight. Triple support, I have not even dreamed of that coming out from L5. Of course, that last match against Raven was a little bit wonky, but tonight against L5, I was expecting a little more in meta. Something surprising, but not as much as this.